to make her a part of the match at the first fight, and the enforcer said, he'll do whatever he has to do to, convince Regina to give Pink Angel a shot at the Women's Championship. But right before the enforcer left the room, Filmo came in, and he said, "Hey Nick, guess what? Next week on Assault, the third match for the one-way ticket Money in the Bank qualifying match, it's gonna be me versus you." Out of nowhere, Filmo was telling his own brother, the enforcer, for the one-way ticket Money in the Bank ladder match. And of course, the enforcer greatly agreed. He wants any opportunity to face Filmo, because both Filmo and the enforcer agreed, no deep down themselves, that they want to take their own brother out of the UWA, because they want to show all to themselves. Because obviously, both the enforcer and Filmo, can't see eye to eye. They can't agree on anything, so they want to get their own brother out of the spot, whatever they have to do. Then we went backstage to a scene with Spike, Vampiro, Vicious, and Planet X all talking why they think they're going to win the tournament. And basically, Spike getting in Vicious's face, finally a confrontation between them two, and Vicious, he admitted why he helped Spike win the Underground Championship against Planet X, a few weeks ago, despite even though after Filmo asked him to, but Vicious, he said, all he says, "I just want to do a favor for an old friend," and then just walked away. So who knows what really that was? And of course, Vampiro and Planet X, in the shot as well, talking. Of course, Planet X isn't saying it because he's only talking anyways. All four of these men, getting in there, showing why they want to win this new unified championship between the West Coast and Underground Championship. And then we had a rant from the show. Ended with a rant from the Destroyer, basically saying, he came out basically saying, I came into a company where the enforcer promised there would be no backstage politics, like the type of politics we get, from WWE and TNA nowadays. Everyone gets a fair opportunity. We don't get any backstage, sabotage and crap. The sort of been complaining about with a franchise player. Of course, now the franchise player, he comes out, talks, to the Destroyer, telling how he's gonna, prove the Destroyer wrong at Love at First Fight, showing that he is indeed a man by defeating his former best friend, the Destroyer. And then Samoa Joe. Then the Destroyer also called out Samoa Joe because the Destroyer wants some answers from Samoa Joe why he was planning on screwing him out of the first round match against Vicious last week. And Samoa Joe, his theory was right. He wanted to get back at the Destroyer, for putting him through the announce table last year for an unprovoked reason. Then they went at it. Then Rampage came out of nowhere and started fighting Samoa Joe and Franchise Player. Because obviously Franchise Player, has some animosity towards Rampage after defeating him at Claim to Fame. So basically, we had a four-way between all four of these men. And then Filmo came out and announced a match that's going to take place in the main event next week on the next episode of Assault, where he said it's going to be the Franchise Player teaming up with the Destroyer to face Rampage and Samoa Joe in a tag team match, and whatever team wins gets to decide a stipulation added to the respective matches at Love at First Fight. Of course, Samoa Joe facing Rampage for the title, and then the Destroyer facing the Franchise Player. So it's gonna be a must see definitely for next week. That does it for the second episode of Assault. Okay, now it's time for the go home show of Assault before Love at First Fight, the third episode. Episode opens up with Angelinas, aka Blue Angel, coming out cutting a promo, talking about who she wants, who she wants to see, win against Stacey Hardy and Laura Hardy at Love at First Fight for the Women's Championship. She basically said, I would love to see Stacey Hardy win, because we had a 45-minute long match at Pandemonium 3 back in 2003, and I would love to compete against Stacey Hardy again, because every time I face Stacey Hardy, it's always an epic match. She's definitely the best women's wrestler out there. She always brings out the best in me. And then she said, all the same time she also wants to face Laura Hardy, because Angelinas, she says, you know, Laura Hardy's a disgrace to the women's championship. And, you know, after I got injured and I was gone for almost a year, you know, it would be a great story for me to come back, win the book Square of Despair, and take the title off Laura Hardy at Pandemonium. Out of all, I mean, of course, after last week, Laura, Angelina, she did attack Laura Hardy, so obviously, I'm sure Laura Hardy wants to face, Angelina as well. I'm sure she has animosity towards her as well. And then Pink Angel comes out, and she comes out there, talks bad about Angelina's, saying, you know what, Angelina's, last year at Pandemonium, I did you a favor, you were already crippled as it is. I try to, shoot you in the back of the head to put you out of your misery, but you're just like one of those people that just never knows when to die. And then I just wanted to get rid of you, and then of course you humiliate me, at Square of Despair by taking me out, at the double Square of Despair match, even though Pink Angel attacked her from behind during her entrance, during Angelina's entrance at the double Square of Despair match. And then Regina came out, and she said that it's going to be a match later here tonight where two former tag teams are going to face each other. Basically, Angelina and Pink Angel are going to team up to become the Angels for one night only to face on the Hardy sisters for one night only between Stacey Hardy and Laura Hardy. So making enemies team up with each other to face other enemies, basically. So we're going to have Pink Angel and Angelina take on Stacey Hardy and Laura Hardy later tonight. Then we went to a scene backstage with Luke talking with Jeff, and Jeff Becker basically asking Luke to be his best man at the wedding, the first fight when he marries Coco, and Luke Fowler greatly, he agreed. He had no problem deciding to be to be Jeff's best man. And of course, Luke also said, it'd be great. I definitely don't mind, being your best man, Jeff. Not only because, I want to be your best man, but also it gives me something to do since I haven't had any camera time, since right after claiming the fame when I got squashed by Rampage. And I already have plans for the first fight anyways. And of course, we don't really know what he means by that, even though he had plans prior to the first fight before, Jeff asked him to be his best man for the wedding. Okay, and then we had Egoman face All-Star Badman. And this match basically ended in a double disqualification because both Egoman and both Death Rob and Sombrero got involved. And then Fillmore came out, he said, whoever wins this right to fight match, at Love First Fight, the winning man would get the 4th spot, in the one-way ticket win the bank ladder match, either between Gunther Wolf or Sombrero, and whoever wins, then the team represented by that man, whether it be Fires by Nature, Gunther Wolf, and Egoman, or the Suicidals, will face the Monsters of Destruction for the Tag Team Championships at Love at First Fight. And then it went to a let's see what comes next. And then it went to an Arasea promo where she basically went on a rant talking about white supremacy, basically saying how the white nation, the white race is the superior race in the world, how all minorities, are inferior, and basically, bashing, talking bad about Mona Loca and the sisters Ariano, basically saying racist comments towards them. And then it went to a match between Mona Loca versus Erin Evany versus Ursula Ariano versus Olivia Ariano with Arasea at ringside. Basically, the match ended where Mona Loca was distracted, by Arasea, and then Olivia Ariano came from behind her and with a roll-up with a handful of tights and cheated to beat Mona Loca. And then Regina decided to have the number 1 contender poll take place to have the live audience decide who should face Arasea at Love at First Fight between Olivia Ariano and Ursula Ariano. Well, it was pretty much bad timing or a bad idea for Olivia, to cheat to defeat Mona Loca, because the fans there in Portland did not like it one bit, and because of that, Ursula Ariano, they voted for Ursula Ariano to face Arasea at Love at First Fight. And basically, those two had to stare down Arasea and Ursula Ariano, and basically said, You know, I'm gonna make you eat those words. I'm gonna show you're nothing. You're an ignorant idiot bitch. At Love at First Fight, when I destroy you and become the 3-time XX champion. And then we went to a Monsters of Destruction promo backstage, where they say they're gonna have what they were referred to as a Heathens Roulette match, which is basically a spin the wheel, make the deal match. If people remember the old days of WCW, the whole thing was Halloween Havoc '91, I believe it was, where they spin a roulette wheel to decide what random type of stipulation match they'll defend the titles at Love at First Fight. So basically, Monsters of Destruction issuing an open challenge to either Fires by Nature or the Suicidals, whoever wins the right to fight match at Love at First Fight, and basically they'll challenge them for the tag team championships at any type of random stipulation match, whatever the wheel decides.